So, killing the boss of the level gets you an upgrade for Sophia, and then after you kill the boss, it teleports you out, and once you get back to the tank, it installs the upgrade, and you can see how your abilities have changed. So if we go into the item menu at the top, the upgrade I just received was Hyper, and as you might guess, it upgrades your cannon shots, so now they do more damage. Now, Hyper is a damage boost, which allows you to also kill certain enemies that you couldn't before, and the progression to level 2 is locked behind that very obstacle. So as we proceed here, you'll actually see what I'm talking about, where there's an enemy that I need to destroy in order to move on. I do think it's kind of funny that those floating creatures look kind of like Metroids. I'd have to go and look and see which game came out first, but the fact that this game itself is kind of Metroid-esque, I wonder if it was a reference at all. And I did just fight a boss called Mother Brain. So, you never know. This was developed by Sunsoft, a studio that did quite a few old school games, and then they sort of fell off, and no one's really heard a lot from them recently. I will say that the remake, or reimagining Blaster Master Zero, which came out, I'll probably be making a lot more comparisons as we go, but the people Inti Creates that made that game did a good job of making some quality of life adjustments to the original formula. If you have a Nintendo Switch or a 3DS, I highly recommend picking up Blaster Master Zero, and that's not something I'm being paid to say, but I really enjoyed it. It was a faithful adaptation of the original, while also adding a lot of neat improvements, quality of life wise and gameplay wise, and at $10 that's a steal for an indie game, so I highly recommend it. Alright, so now we're here in level 2, and the scenery has changed up to this sort of ruined castle-like environment, and as you can see, those little grubs that keep falling down are too short to shoot with the tank, so I have the Thunderbreak upgrade or weapon on, but it's a little bit finicky with the hitbox, so it's not a perfect solution. Sometimes it's better to just run away. But I do like that the environment changes, and also the music changes, and I'm sure I'll say it a bunch of times throughout the course of the playthrough, but Blaster Master is one of my favorite old school 8-bit soundtracks. The level themes, and even the battle themes, are really neat and pretty iconic to me, so I definitely like listening to both the original soundtrack and a lot of the remixes that people have done over the years. And so the easiest way to deal with those guys is to lure them to a spot where you can either shoot them from below or jump up and shoot them straight on, since your regular cannon shots just fly right over them. So I think what I'll do is try and make a direct path to the boss. What I did on my previous attempt was try and farm up some of the dungeons, which we can see if there's one in here. The direct path is actually up to the left, but if there's a dungeon in here, then I might be able to try and max my gun out, since I only need a couple more levels. We'll see. I also don't want to waste time. If I were to die, that would not be particularly useful. And that red substance is a kind of lava or acid. If I fall in there, it'll do a lot of damage and eventually kill me. So I definitely want to avoid doing that. So I know there's a dungeon at the top of this zone, and I think there's one at the bottom. I don't usually go this way. Okay, so that's a dead end. And these guys are causing problems. Oof. If I had homing missiles, I'd be able to shoot them easier. Unfortunately, they don't do a ton of damage. They're just annoying. Okay. I think I'm going to bypass the dungeon that's up here, since it's not too useful and there's no guaranteed gun power-ups there. I think I'm just gonna move on. We could stop here. I don't normally go this way. And we can see what kind of power-ups are in here. Okay. So here's destroyable blocks. Now, I want to say there'll be some more of those swarming enemies here, so I gotta be careful not to get hit. But I'll bet there's some gun power-ups hidden somewhere in here. Okay, there's like floating eyeballs. Not too bad, but they do pass through walls, so they're kind of annoying. And if I had a better gun, it'd be easier to clear this area out, but I just have to make my way through and see what I can find. Okay. Alright, so now I have a slightly upgraded version, and now my gun is maxed out. So, whoa. Jeez. These guys just pop out of the woodwork. Okay. I think we need to get out of here before I take some damage. Oof. So that was productive, at least. Now we can make our way towards the boss. Hey. Those skull things drop more bombs. And they actually do a decent amount of damage, so I need to be careful. As long as I avoid falling into the lava pits, I should be alright. Most of the regular enemies don't do a ton of damage. So if we proceed to the right here, the tile set changes to more of this sort of castle wall type pattern. And now I'm in sort of like these catacombs. And the boss section is coming up soon. It's just a matter of navigating through all these sections and then just making my way to the left. And so this sort of almost like a hallway. This is the boss dungeon. So now the challenge will be making it through all this without taking any damage and losing my gun. And we'll see if I can remember the proper path forward here. I used to have the layout pretty well memorized. Oh, come on. That was a cheap shot. Okay, I'm gonna keep moving forward here. Maybe I can get a gun power from one of those cannon enemies. And these teleporter guys are really obnoxious, so I don't want to waste time fighting them. Okay. Alright. So this gun, the guns don't have names as far as I can tell, but in Blaster Master Zero they call the maxed out version, which looks similar, the Wave. So for the sake of simplicity here in the playthrough, I'll refer to the maxed out gun as the Wave as well, and that'll keep it simple. Now here I need to be careful not to hit the spikes and lose my weapon. Let's see, it should be... Okay, we made it to the boss. So, we're in good shape so far. So this boss is called Crabalus, a sort of lobster, scorpion, crab guy. And so he basically moves around the upper half of the screen, swiping out with his claws and shooting those little diamond-shaped projectiles. But because I have the Wave, I can hang back and as long as I avoid the stray projectiles, I can just keep shooting. Unfortunately, because of the oscillating pattern of the beam, it doesn't hit him that easily, but it's still safer than getting right in his face, since getting in his face would involve having to dodge his arms and the shots. So, it's supposed to be... Yep, okay. That was pretty straightforward. And now I can keep my gun for the next level.